Oh, yeah! You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for the Eddie and Webby podcast! Yo, I'ma bust out some theme song action for you. Check it out. The Eddie and Webby show is the place to be. They're talking about beer and pickleball and technology. So if you didn't know, now you know. 'Cause it's time for the Eddie and Webby show.
On today's episode, Eddie and Webby have a penalty shootout. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
3, 2, 1, fire in the hole. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 74th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 74, and this is a very exciting episode for us, and quite frankly, I think it's pretty huge for the sport of pickleball in general, if you ask me.
I totally agree. There's going to be two amazing guests that are going to be coming on tonight that I'm very excited about. You guys should be excited as well. And I do want to remind you that we are live. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And for the legitimate one person that does care, we are also live on Twitch as well. Right, Webby?
That is correct.
And this show is meant to be interactive. So if you have questions or comments for us, but probably more than likely it's going to be for our guests tonight, please feel free to throw them in the chat. And if it's some good stuff, who knows? It might pop up on the screen. We might be able to ask. So definitely want to be interactive with you guys.
Yeah, as always, we love interacting with you guys, so definitely send us your questions, and we'll ask as many as we can, and it's sure to be a very fun evening.
That's right. But before we get into any of that, I got a question for you, Webby, and that is there anything going on in Twitter?
Well, let me pull out my cell phone here and take a look at the Twitter sphere. You know what? I don't know. Twitter must have been down or something, because we actually do not have any tweets to go over tonight, so the Twitter sphere must have been broken this past week, so we do not have any tweets to go over tonight, believe it or not.
Okay, well, that's cool. Well, maybe before we bring on our guests, would you like to share what you're going to be enjoying for a beverage this evening?
Yes, I would love to, as a matter of fact. And this one comes from a very local brewery. It comes out of Royal Oak, Michigan, and it is called Roque Brewing Company. And this is a new one that I haven't tried before, but I've heard great things. It's called French Toast Devil Dog Oatmeal Stout.
Yum.
And I just poured it, and I got to tell you, it looks amazing. It smells amazing. And I am looking forward to sipping on this all night.
Oh, very nice. I look forward
What
to
are you
hearing
up
about
to?
that. Well, here's the thing.
In the drink category.
I went to Publix today trying to find some Canadian beers like a Molson or Labatt's. And then I remembered I live in Naples, Florida, and it's hard to find Canadian beers down here. But I will tell you this. Since last week, I had an American Oktoberfest, Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and it just didn't really quench that thirst that I had for a real German style. I ended up picking up some of my Bitburger Fest beer, which it's a decent German style Oktoberfest. And of course, if you're going to be drinking Oktoberfest, you also have to drink it out of the boot. So I'm bringing it back again this week.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, cheers, my friend. This should be a very fun night.
Cheers.
Clinky. Oh, man. So, yeah, I say we get right to the action here. To say I'm extremely excited to have tonight's guests on would be a massive understatement. But to be honest, they're just a couple regular guys that I met on the pickleball court that we thought would be fun to talk to. And there's also something worth mentioning. Both of them have had very successful careers in the NHL, and they each helped bring home the Stanley Cup while part of the Detroit Red Wings organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show 2008 Stanley Cup champion Dan Cleary and four-time Stanley Cup champion Kris Draper. How's it going, guys?
Good. Happy to be
doing well. Yeah,
guys.
thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Nice. This is awesome. Yeah, we got to thank you guys very much for taking the time out of your crazy busy schedules to join us. This is a huge honor. Really means a lot to us. And I'm sure you're both understandably very nervous to be in the presence of two legends like Eddie and Webby. But just keep in mind, we're just a couple regular people that play pickleball. We're pickleball enthusiasts like you guys, so no need to be nervous.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm more nervous that
Thanks,
Drapes is
thanks
on the
for
call.
breaking the ice. Yeah.
Excellent. So for anybody tuning in outside of Michigan that not be a Red Wings fan, do you guys mind telling us about your current role with the Red Wings organization? We'll start with you, Kris.
Yeah. Thank you very much, first of all, for having me and enjoying it. Looking forward to talking some pickleball. For me, I was fortunate enough, like you said, to be a member of 4 Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings. I retired in 2011, moved into the front office to work with Ken Holland. Now, obviously, Ken has moved on with the Edmonton Oilers, and Steve Yzerman has come in, and I am the director of amateur scouting. So right now, pretty busy time for me. We have the draft next week, so there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of preparation going on. Very excited. This is going to be a big day for the organization, and I'm looking forward to Tuesday night, which is the first round, and then Wednesday is rounds 2 through 7. So looking forward to it. All the work, all the travel, all watching the games, the game reports, all that kind of stuff, and now get ready to have our draft day. So looking forward to that.
Awesome, very cool. And what about you, Dan?
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. So just like Drapes, Drapes played in Detroit for a long time. So I've been here since 2005. Was obviously fortunate enough to win the Stanley Cup in 08. And, this has been home for me and my family. So this is, a great place to live. And I left the game in 2015 and got into player development. So basically, come Tuesday, Drapes is going to make a selection, and then he hands them over to myself and a good friend of mine, Sean Horkoff, and we try to guide these guys on the right path and help them on off the ice any which way we can, and we try to develop them into becoming Red Wings, which that's our main focus, and that's what I do.
Very cool. Love it. Very awesome. So, Kris, we got to start off by asking you a very obvious question for anybody that tunes into our podcast, and that is, how did you first get into pickleball?
You know what? Well, obviously, during the pandemic, everything was shut down, and probably as it was as the state was slowly starting to open, a friend of ours has Seth Rogers. He actually has a pickleball court in his backyard. It's more of a sport court covering a sport court flooring, and we started going over to his backyard and playing a lot. I mean, we went over there, and next thing you know, we're playing for 2-3 hours. We're having a blast. We can't wait to get back the next day to do it all over again. Like Dan said, Sean Horkoff plays as well. So the 3 of us plus Seth, we started getting some games in, and then Dan kind of through friends ended up finding a place in Royal Oak called Upton Park, and it was actually brand new pickleball courts. Some of them were just even being finished painted while we were playing. So it was the actual hard court, pickle court. And then we really kind of took to that and really started enjoying that. And then, for almost 4 months, we were probably averaging about 5 times a week, anywhere from 2 hours to some days 4 hours of playing. I think on last weekend, we ended up being on the courts for about 4 hours of nonstop playing. So for me, it was just the reason I think I enjoy it so much is, you kind of get, the competitive juices flowing again. It's, we always try to play best 4 to 7 games, matches. So we have a lot of fun with that. And then we just, the exercise, the summer here in Michigan was outstanding, being able to play outside. There was days where it was 90, 95 degrees, so just everything, all those things of how it happened. And, now I have to admit it's, I'm hooked on the sport. It's a lot of fun. I love the opportunity to play with and meet great people. And then most important to me is just the fact that you get back out on the court and you get to compete. And that's something that, like I said, I retired in 2011, and something that I missed a lot. and it's been fun to be able to do that.
Awesome. So Dan, did you get hooked on it right away, or did it take a little bit for you to warm up to it, or was it something like when you first started playing it, like you instantly got hooked on it?
Yeah, whatever Drapes has said, his entire start to the story, obviously, I was right next to him. We were doing the same thing. Our buddy Horick, Drapes alluded to him earlier, Sean, he has a version of a pickleball court in his backyard. So, we've played there, for a number of years, just, maybe once or twice. It's a little bit smaller on the ends because he couldn't quite fit the dimensions, but I grew up playing ping pong. My dad would always, give me lessons and stuff like that. So that's the racket, or the racket sport. I get a lot of beef for calling the paddles rackets, but
Yeah.
So when we played, I'm with Drapes. Not only is it a great workout, and the summers were terrific. Drapes loves the heat and the hot and the sweat, and we would just. The competitive juices is what's fun. And what I love most about it is that it's instant. You get the instant gratification of a block or a great winner or whatever it may be. You guys know what we're talking about. And that's what I love the most about it. And I'm a big golfer, love to play golf. And this has started to become more than golf for me. Like
Nice.
Drape said, we're trying to play every day. Like the reason we don't play is either weather or someone has something going on. But it's usually the three of us now. We've really gained a ton of friends in the pickleball community, which has been awesome. To meet people outside of hockey, and it's unbelievable how many different people that we go to Upton now, and all these different people. We know by only first name. I don't really know a lot of last names, but certainly know a lot of first names.
Awesome. So you mentioned Upton Park. That's actually where I first met you guys. And to be honest, Kris, I didn't introduce myself to you when I first saw you, because when I first saw you, I was like, that guy looks a lot like Kris Draper, but I didn't think it was actually you. And then after you left, I asked my buddy, I was like, was that Kris Draper by any chance? And he was like, oh, yeah, he plays here all the time. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. I love that fact. And then Dan was still there, but I was still a little too nervous and hesitant to confront you or anything. But something really cool is I did a pickleball clinic with Riley Newman when he was in town, and that was at Upton Park also, and you and I were part of the same group, and that was awesome, and we got to play against each other. It was a doubles match, so you and your partner played against me and my partner, and we were playing for the right to win the little mini round robin tournament, and the winner got a chance to play against Riley Newman in a match. And you have no idea how badly I wanted to beat you so I could tell people that I beat a Detroit Red Wing at something. Unfortunately, things didn't go in my favor. You are a really good player, and I don't know why I was surprised, but I was surprised at how good you were, because I thought you were pretty new to the sport still. So I was like, he's probably decent. He's got some natural abilities, but he's probably not that good. But then when I played against you, your team just destroyed us. So that was
I had
it was
a good
still a fun
partner.
experience.
I had a good partner.
Yeah, I did too. I had a good partner, and I feel like I let her down. I think I was definitely the weak link of our partner. But I had my camera rolling, so everybody can look forward to seeing some highlights from that experience of the clinic with Riley. So that was very fun. But speaking of
the
Riley
clinic,
Newman,
go ahead.
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna touch on it, like how much fun that was. When I first got the email about Riley. Now, and the funny thing is, I knew who Riley was just from the the YouTube videos that I've watched, and right away I jumped on it. And me, Drapes, and Mark actually had a little small 3v1 type of clinic with him, which was also awesome. But great tips. He's a two-hander, which is something I'm trying to put into my game, but it is new for us. This is but I think if you have a background in sports and you have the hand-eye coordination and you've played either, whether it be tennis, squash, racquetball, ping pong, I feel that you'll pick this up rather quickly. I got to be honest.
Oh, for sure. So it's funny that you mentioned the little 3-on-1 coaching session that you had with Riley Newman, because we actually have a video message from the man himself, Riley Newman, for you guys, and let's go ahead and play that right now.
Hey fellas, it's your favorite pickleball coach here. I had an absolute blast playing with you guys a couple weeks ago. I have some questions. Daniel, how's the new two-handed backhand feeling? And Drapes, when are you going to start using the two-handed backhand? Hope all is well.
He's right. I put it into my game, the two-handed backhand. I got it. Not quite as effective. But yeah,
Nice.
it's awesome.
So
I haven't adopted the two-handed backhand. I must be honest. It's funny too. I grew up playing tennis. I played a lot of tennis till I was about 15 years old, and that's all I ever hit was a two-handed backhand. But I've yet to try the two-hander. Dan has put it in, and he's sneaky good at it. Now he's got a little two-handed lob that he likes to pop up there too. But he telegraphs it now, so I can kind of anticipate sometimes when it's coming. And if I anticipate it the right way, like I jump on it and I let him know too. That's the fun part. I would have to say, the pickleball courts at Upton Park are probably the loudest when we're on it. We're not, it's not a quiet, it's not quiet rallies. It's not a quiet sport when we're there, but it shows our emotion and how much fun we're having. So, Riley, you know what? It's because you just kind of called me out on it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna hope that I can add it another shot to my game. So thanks for bringing that up. Thanks for kind of challenging me on it on this podcast. So Eddie and Webby, I'm gonna try to bring it into my game.
all right, very nice. Yeah, that's something I haven't tried incorporating yet either. I have a good paddle for it because the paddle that I use has a little bit of a longer handle, so it's definitely made for two-handed. So I need Riley to show me how to do a killer two-handed backhand so I can start implementing it too. That would be a great thing to implement, I think. So Kris, what is it like? To be honest, what do you think of the name pickleball? Do you think it's a bit ridiculous, or is it growing on you? Do you like it, or do you think do you wish it was called something else? What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
You know what? Definitely it's grown on me. I must admit, at first when I heard pickleball, I was like, I wasn't quite sure that this was something I was going to like. And then all of a sudden it was from playing in our buddy's backyard to getting to Upton. It was just, it was instant. We couldn't get enough of it. We'd leave the courts, we'd set a game up for the next day, and that, like I said, it was just nonstop of how we were setting up games. So for me, the funny thing is when I talk to people about pickleball, the first reaction is, and I don't know, like, this is what I hear. It's like, don't old people just play that? Is what is kind of their reaction, and then my reaction right away is absolutely not. And when you start seeing so many players and so many younger players and so many former tennis players that have played either high school tennis and have competed, or NCAA have competed, and now they're playing pickleball, like it just it to me it's just growing. Like if we don't get to Upton early enough, you're not getting a court. Like it's just amazing the people that are there. So for me, at first it was when I mentioned that I played pickleball, I think I kind of startled and surprised a lot of people when I said that. But then when I started talking about it and describing it, they could feel the passion that I had for playing it, and just to me it's a great workout. You're moving. It's quick. You get to the net, it's hand-eye. There's obviously some touch involved. If you're playing against, a player that can lob the ball, you have to be quick to go get it. If you're playing against a player that obviously can work a drop shot, you got to anticipate and use quickness to get to the net. So for me, it's been a ton of fun. It's it's a sport that I've really taken to, and like I said, it's something I want to play, every day. And we've had that much fun with it. And like Dan has said, we've met some great people that have been playing it for years, and to us, it's I've been playing for 4 months now, but definitely have the passion for it.
Nice, I love it. I'm glad you brought that up too, especially the part about people thinking that it's an old person's sport, because that couldn't be any further from the truth. But it's definitely a very common misconception. And when Eddie and I started this YouTube channel, pickleball was not our main focus. Like we mainly did technology related videos and product reviews for electronics and stuff like that. But we both really got into pickleball right when we started this channel. So it quickly shifted and our focus became pickleball. So most of our videos became pickleball related. And that was like one of my primary goals, was to get the word out there to people, like younger people, especially. Like, this is not a sport for old people. I mean, it is a sport. Like, the great thing is it is a sport that old people can play, but I feel like any age from 8 to 98 can play this game, and they can play it competitively. And it's definitely a sport to take seriously. So Dan, what kind of reaction do you get when you tell friends and family that you play pickleball? It's like people, especially people that aren't familiar with it. Do you get any kind of weird reactions, or does anybody give you a hard time about it?
No. My wife plays tennis every day, so I'm like, hon, you have to get into pickleball. I mean, you're gonna love this thing. And she's like, no, I don't know. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, it's such a better workout. And she rambles on about tennis being a better workout. So that's the argument. But I still stand by, you get into a great, foursome pickleball doubles match, and all good players, and these rallies go on, and you're in a constant, 3/4 to a squat position and a ready position, and the focus. It's unreal. I mean, I love pickleball. Like, love to play every day. Love to play outside. We've moved to inside, but I love partnering up with someone and just going. Like Drape said, we always like to do 4 to 7, which is a lot of times it goes 7 games, and can go on for a couple hours, and it's a quick water break. But you got to be really adapting. When it gets crowded, and now when we go in, I played pickleball. I'm not joking. About a month ago, me and this very, very good woman, excellent player, and we played Larry. I don't know Larry's last name, but he's an older gentleman, and he absolutely worked us on this court. I mean, he had his great deception, little drop shots. I couldn't get a read off his paddle, and I was just so flustered. I was like, God damn it, Larry! Like, so that's the best part. When Drape's referenced older people, I mean, anyone can play this, and this is something that I hope my body holds up, that I can play when I get real old too.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not kidding. I've played with people in their late 80s, and I even played with this one guy. He was 92 years old, and like he slowly walked out onto the court. And this was when I was pretty new to the game, but I was like, even though I'm new, I'm going to destroy this guy. But then he barely moved, but he was so smart with his shot placement. Like, he knew where to place the ball, and he knew how to get around. Like, he knew how to play without having to move around a lot, because smart players really don't have to run around a lot. Like, if you watch me play, especially when I first started to play, I'm running all over the court trying to hit the ball, like, very clumsily and flopping my arms around. Yeah, shut up. But anyways, it's the older people, they learn how to play very smart. So you definitely can't judge a book by its cover based on age when you play this game, because somebody old can definitely kick your ass easily on the pickleball court. No joke about that. So Eddie, what's going on social media?
Yeah, we've had a few questions here, and I wanted to point out a couple real quick here. And Webby, hopefully I'm not taking a question away that you were planning on asking, but this is coming from Janae Osborne, and she wants to know, are you planning on playing in any tournaments?
Ooh, good question.
Well, I'll start first, Drape.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've actually played in my first one in Royal Oak in late August, and it was fun. Obviously, it was, they were in the first USPA to get sanctioned, because of COVID. So it was my first tournament. I didn't really know what to expect. The thing I noticed right away is, we played I played with my friend D, who's basically, become a good friend of me and Drape's. Quite, she organizes all the games, and, she's an excellent player herself. So her partner, who's very good, Gary, he ended up getting hurt. So I was like, I'll play with you. And then, so we played in the 4-5 level, and, it's games to 11. The biggest thing that I noticed for me was the refereeing, in terms of, you have to wait for the ref to say the score first. And I was like, so we'd win a point or whatever, side out, I get the ball and I'd serve, and then they're like, oh no, lost the serve because you served before the point. I was like, this is frustrating. And I happened to me twice. Now after a few games, I ended up waiting, but you really have to be patient. And I ended up staying and watching the 5-0 men's final, which a friend of ours won. And I just love watching good players play. I loved it. Loved the tournament. In terms of any more tournaments, for me personally, and I don't know, I can speak for Drapes, we're going to start getting pretty busy coming up here. So I don't think a tournament looks in my favor anytime soon until I don't even know when until. Who knows when hockey's going to start and end, and so I would have to say no. But I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
just
Have you played
to
any?
follow just to pick up where what Dan was talking about, I would love to play in a tournament. I was actually out of town when the Royal Oak tournament was on at Upton. I would have enjoyed to play that, just to kind of see how we would do in that kind of environment. But like Dan said, here, the next couple weeks we're going to start to get real busy again, and so I'm not sure, but I know if there's an opportunity and schedule permits, whether it's kind of inside through the winter or into next year, it's something that I'd certainly like to try, no doubt.
Very nice. So Dan, with you playing tournaments, what would you say is more intense, playing in a pickleball tournament or playing in an NHL playoff game?
When me and Drapes play in our 4-7s is much more intense than a tournament. I can tell you that. No, obviously, I mean, hockey. I'd like to see. I like to see the sport grow to where it gets, I couldn't imagine being at one of these U.S. Opens where Eddie down in Florida, where you are, and the fans. I mean, I watch on YouTube, and I can see the sport growing to where it becomes, I don't know how many fans, but where there's a few thousand, 5,000 fans watching. I would certainly go to watch Ben Johns and Simone Jardine play, or Riley Newman and Yates play. Those two guys playing men's doubles. So, I would love to go and watch that.
For sure. Yeah, and like we've talked about many times, there is nothing like watching pro pickleball in person. Like, you may have watched a bunch of YouTube videos of the pros playing. It does not compare to watching it in person, because when you're in person, it just seems so much more fast-paced than when you're watching it on YouTube. Because even dink rallies are super intense when you're there in person. Watching dink rallies on YouTube and on Facebook, like, it just seems kind of dull sometimes. But when you're in person, it's intense.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's a different world. Following up here, Dan, on your tournament experience, we had a question from our friend Leslie White. And she says, "Hey, Dan, do you remember my offensive lob for the winning point in Royal Oak tournament? ? Winky face."
I'm guessing I didn't go get it. I didn't get it in time, but no, I don't. I had a great time. I mean, listen, with COVID, obviously we were, you had to be smart, wear your mask, and the interaction between teams in terms of, hey, I'm Danny, who are you, was a little limited, in terms of that. And, it was like, get to your court, wait for the referee and play, and 2-11, and then leave your court and wait to the next game, and then, rinse and repeat. So I don't remember. I mean, but I'm sure it was a great shot.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got a funny story to go along with that. So I was telling you earlier how I really wished I could have beaten you in the clinic round robin that we did with Riley Newman, so I could tell people that I beat Red Wing. Well, Leslie here, I'm friends with her, and she proudly tells people that she beat you in that tournament. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Bragging rights.
Yeah.
You tell Leslie I want action again. I want her again.
Oh, here we go, Leslie. He wants a rematch.
I love it.
Nice.
That's good stuff. This next question didn't come from social media. It's actually just a question that I'm curious with here, and I'll ask it, and then I'll let you guys get back to it. But obviously, you're both retired NHL players, and to succeed in the NHL, obviously you're going to push your body to the limits, right? And you guys are both very young, but there's a lot of retired pro athletes out there who might even have quite a few years on you. So I'm trying to get from your perspective, maybe for other sports, whether it's the NHL, MLB, NBA, where you have these retired athletes, do you see pickleball as a great sport that a lot of these people can transition out of their sports career into and play to kind of keep them mobile and keep their bodies moving, that's maybe a little bit less impactful than, tennis or something like that? So I guess I'm looking for your thoughts on that. And Kris, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, we can say right now we're big advocates for that, no doubt. I mean, that's part of why we've come on your podcast to talk about the sport and talk about how much we enjoy it, and it's it's fun. We have a passion for it. I mean, there's there's nights where we're sitting there texting and setting up the next day already for when we're going to play. But for me, the thing I like about it, and Dan touched on it earlier, like it's a great workout, and it's it's kind of all the stuff that you want. You're getting some cardio. Obviously, the heat, you're getting a good sweat. You get to work on your quickness. It's hand-eye coordination. You get the competition. It's obviously rewarding when you've made a good shot. That's something that you like to do, or maybe a good get, or like Clear said, maybe a good block. Like those things, you take a lot of pride in that, in those kind of shots. So for me, and we've talked to anybody when you start talking, well, what have you been up to? Well, a lot of the first things we say is, well, we play pickleball, and then we start talking about it and start describing it, and then I think once people hear us talking about it with that much excitement, I think they're kind of thinking, well, maybe I should give this a try. So it's a lot of people that I know that play tennis. I always ask them, you should really give pickleball a chance. And if you go out and you play, and if you're playing with the right people, it's something that you're going to enjoy. But for us, for me, it's I like the fact that it's a workout. That's what I like, is that you're getting up in the morning, you're hitting the courts, and you're getting a good workout in, and you're staying in shape, and you're staying well conditioned. So for me, absolutely, I would. For a lot of people and a lot of current athletes, it's great because you get to work on your quickness and hand-eye. And then for former athletes, it's great to be able to do it because it keeps everything moving, keeps you in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. Do you have anything to add to that, Dan?
No, in terms of like other sports, being able to, obviously hockey with the hand-eye. I couldn't imagine baseball, with these guys at the net, with these fast drives coming at them, how quickly they could react. I'm trying to get away from. I hit more out balls than I feel like anyone I play with. I'm trying to stop hitting out balls. So, it could be because our reaction time becomes too quick, but I don't know how to fix it. I'm trying to, but I certainly, I'd be a huge advocate for any other athlete, even if you're not an athlete. What a great way to like Drape said, to stay in shape, socialize, fresh air, you're outside, now you're obviously going to be inside, but if you're in Florida or a state that has weather permitting outside, there's nothing I would rather do. You have golf, but golf is, you don't get that, that instant reward from golf until you actually hit the shot. Say you hit 80 shots, if you're any good, maybe, a little bit lower, a little bit worse, a little bit higher. But with pickleball, you could have a 20, 30, 40 point rally, in terms of one at the net. That I love at the net. Who's going to have more patience? I love it. And then if it goes on for like 5, 10, 15, I'll start laughing. Who's gonna commit first? Who's gonna put it an inch higher, inch lower? Like, it's unreal. It's unreal. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. So Dan, you mentioned hitting out balls. Are you referring to like hitting a ball that you should not hit? That would have sailed out of bounds. Yep. So I can assure you that is a huge problem with pretty much everybody that plays pickleball. Even the top pros, a lot of them talk about they need to work on that too. So that's, if you can master not hitting a ball that's going to go out, that's you're gonna be in really good shape, because that is one of the hardest things to do. Because I just feel like it's just instinct. Like no matter where it's at, like if it's a perfect shot for you to just slam at it, it's so hard not to slam that ball, even though if you let it go, it's gonna sail way out.
It happens to me all the time. I'm trying to figure out this little formula, and depending where the ball's at and where they're hitting it from, like it has to be out if it comes to a certain area, around me. I just can't help myself. I flare the chicken wing and boom, off the racket out, or I put it in the net, or it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I can 100% relate.
Lots of work. Yeah.
So Kris, do you know like what your skill level is? Has anybody ever told you like, oh, you seem like you're this skill level, like if you were to play a tournament you should do this skill level? Do you have any idea what skill level you're at right now?
I do not. For me, the people that we play with, it's the one thing I like is if I haven't played with someone in a couple weeks or what it might be, and then they've, come and play with us, they compliment us on how our game continues to improve. I think at first, I was thinking, it's the baseline and you want to hit it and it's top spin. You want to try to overpower everyone. Then we started playing with real pickleball players, and every time we do that, they would just touch the ball, and have a drop shot. And we couldn't react to it. And then all of a sudden, we started, Bear, like Dan was talking about, is, at the net and showing more patience. We started to kind of work on that. So I think, the fun part for me is I just want to, I want to continue to get better. There's some things that I know that I have to work on. I have a mentality that I always feel like if I get my racket my paddle on the ball, is that I should be able to get it over. But people, say, well, that, that's not really the case, but that's my mentality. I just, if it's going to touch my paddle, I'm expecting that it's going to go over the net. But for me, I think it's just kind of, continues to improve. I think, I've gotten more patient at the net. I think I think my touch has been pretty good. Everyone talks about the third shot, the importance of the third shot. And I think that, that continues to improve. So the way I look at it is, that our rallies seem to get longer, and it's because we're being more patient, we're making better shots, but we can also, save a point with, like Dan talked about, our hand-eye and our quickness. So that's what makes it all fun. And, to what Dan said about golf and pickle, when you hit a great shot, you have a smile on your face. And you get excited about it, you want to get back and you want that point to start all over again. So, there's definitely some things I have to clean up. It's, sometimes, from lack of concentration or excitement, my serve goes out or I hit it into the net. I can't stand that. That just burns my ass when I do that, just, something along the lines like that. But, I just want to, and then when you're playing with your partner, if you know them, it's easier. But if you don't know them that well, when you make a couple bad shots or a couple unforced errors, you kind of feel you feel bad about it, and you want to respond, and you want to get back, and you want to play better. So for me, that's kind of where it's at. But I feel the game's kind of, my game's kind of improving, and that's the exciting part about it.
Very nice. Yeah, for sure. And kind of going along with something you said earlier, like one of the things I think makes pickleball so special is the fact that it's super easy to pick up but difficult to master. And I think anytime you can say that about something, that's the kind of thing that really takes off. So if people give it a chance, like I really think pickleball is going to grow a lot more than it has now. It's eventually going to become a household name. It definitely is not a household name yet because there's a lot of people out there that laugh anytime I mention the name pickleball, but I think it's definitely going to get there. And because there's not a lot of sports out there that can be as intense as pickleball that are so easy for anybody to get into but difficult to master. So I think that's a huge thing. So going along with what my original question was, as far as skill rating, Dan, you originally said, or earlier you said that you played in a 4.5 tournament. Did you feel that you were out of place and not quite that skill yet, or did you feel that you fit in at that skill level, or do you think you might have been better? Like if you do another tournament, do you think you would do one a little lower in skill ranking, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I would go lower. I got to see, I played in a mixed, and Dee, who was my partner, she's a really good woman player. And, she was like, just last week, she's like, well, usually, the man kind of like is really taking over a lot of court. I'm like, oh God, Dee, I don't even know if my body allows me to go over to your side that quickly. So, I would say if I did it again, yeah, I would go into the 4-5. So would Drapes.
Nice.
And after watching, the 5-0 players, boy, like Casey, our friend Casey, man, he's unbelievable at this game. He's the best I've seen. Well, obviously, no, I don't count Riley, but just seeing the 5-0 players, they're so good. I really enjoyed watching them. And there was this young kid. I don't know if you remember Webby, this little 15-year-old kid. He had glasses on and he played with his dad in Whittier. He was awesome. He's a two-hander as well. He's like a robot. I see him he's going to be a star in this pickleball. I don't know his name, but I'm sure people out there do know his name. He was excellent. He was in the top 4 in the and he lost to go to the finals. So I think he ended up being third in the tournament. Him and his dad. But
Okay.
well, I just love to talk to good players. We play with good players. I promise you. Like in our games, whether it be men or women, let me tell you, excellent players across the board. And I'm always asking just anything I can learn, any little tip. But I always try to copy people, like if they're doing anything. Riley with his two-hand was excellent because you can really place a two-hand. You have much more accuracy with it. I'm more of a one-hand backhander and at the net, but anything the dink-wise, I'm a two-hander. So, I love it. For me, I don't think you should never get a serve out or return of serve. Those are two areas that I feel that you should always put in, and if I don't, that's super frustrating for me.
Yeah, for sure. And Janae is tuning in, and she said CJ, he's amazing. So CJ must be who you're referring to. We've had numerous people have commented and said CJ is the one you're talking about. But yeah, Royal Oak has a lot of great players. I wish I lived a little closer to Royal Oak because I know a lot of people that play in Royal Oak are very, very good. So that's definitely a good area to be for pickleball. So you're in good company if you're playing in Royal Oak regularly. So that's for sure. So we've talked a lot about pickleball tonight, and we're definitely going to talk about more pickleball, but we can't have two NHL superstars here with us without asking at least some hockey-related questions. Do you guys see any similarities between hockey and pickleball, or is there anything in hockey that you picked up that you feel helps your ability to play pickleball? We'll start with you, Kris. What do you think about that?
I would probably say the one thing that, like, tipping pucks, deflecting pucks. You have a D-man, at the blue line, and he's firing pucks that are coming in anywhere from 85 to 100 miles an hour, and you're standing in front of the net with your hockey stick and you're trying to tip them, both on your forehand and backhand. So we already talked about the hand-eye coordination. So for me, I would probably say that would be one thing that has certainly helped us, being able to, when you're talking about batting pucks out of the air, and reacting to that, I think that's something that has helped us. And I kind of kid around that my fast twitch fibers have been sleeping since 2011, and now that I'm playing pickleball, I've woken them up, and it's been fun to get in and do that. And like I said, I just always find it rewarding when it's either a great get on a drop shot at the net, or you've made a good shot yourself, and so I think just kind of self-satisfaction, from at the net, and if you're tipping pucks or playing pickle and you're at the net and you do something quick or something that kind of surprises your opponent. So I would say that's something that would be similar to me from hockey and pickle.
All right, what about you, Dan?
Of course, hand-eye, fast twitch fibers, overall just athleticism. But the competitiveness is what I like. When you get into it, the competitiveness is what's great. You keep score, and most of the time we can't figure out who's got the score, who's serving. That quite gets lost in translation more often than not. But the hand eye, you got to have good hand eye. You got to have good fast hands. Obviously, got to have a good touch. Just that feel for the ball. And as I can't wait to keep learning. Honestly, I just can't wait to keep learning, practicing, drilling, playing, getting better. Watching people. I'm only getting started now. I'm so into this. I just got we got these new paddles today. So got them all juiced up. I got to give Drapes his when I see him, hopefully.
Yeah, I thought you were
Saturday
delivering mine today. You don't deliver?
No. There's no delivery. No delivery service.
Remember the T-shirt I dropped off?
Yeah, you did. The Bronco T-shirt. That was nice.
Yeah,
that's a great example.
For sure you would. I was coming home. I heard about my new paddle, and I was coming home, and I thought, you know what? My buddy's going to hook me up. It's going to be at my house. Guess what? It wasn't.
Yeah. I got. You know what I did though? I waited for you. I got the weight on the bottom for you. You're gonna love it.
Okay. What's it at?
Man, I think 8.12, 8.13.
Okay. Perfect.
That's without a grip though. So I don't know if you want a grip or you want me to put some tape. So you can, if you want that, it only adds like 0.6 or 0.06.
Yeah. If you grip me up, please. I need that. Thank you.
Yeah. I do appreciate a good overgrip. It makes a big difference for me anyways. I know
me
a
too.
lot of people feel the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Very
We're
nice.
Selkirk, eh? Hey, Webby, we are Selkirk. We are
Oh, wow.
Selkirk big
Okay.
time to the core.
I was just going to ask
We
you,
got
the yes.
which paddle did you guys get? Do you know the model of the paddle that you guys just got?
I know everything about these paddles.
Let's hear it.
Right?
Let's hear,
Not only
let's hear
that,
it. Yeah. What are you working with?
So when I first got into it, I remember going over to Seth's place, and he must have had, maybe it was a Head or a Wilson. And then when I played with D over at Sports Club, this was like in June. I go, what paddle? Oh, I said, what racket should I get? She's like, well, it's not called a racket. Our friend Michelle busts me all the time. I know it's a paddle, but so she said, get a Selkirk. So I go down, I get a Selkirk. I got the Amped because the Vanguard wasn't out yet. So then, so I'm online on Selkirk, and I see this new Vanguard's coming out. And I'm like, oh, I better register for this. So I buy, pre-order it, and I end up getting a Vanguard. I didn't know anything about weights in terms of, and so I got a Vanguard, and then they sold out. Our friend of ours, is a Selkirk ambassador, you could say. So anyways, today I got, so now I got 2 or 3 Vanguards, and I got an Epic today. So I like the Vanguard. Yeah, sorry, Invicta. I like the Invicta.
Yeah.
It's an elongated paddle. It has the longer handle.
Yep.
So it's good for at the net, that little reach. And then I got an Epic to try because the Epic is the same handle as an Invicta. Not a big fan of the I want to say the S2 because it has a shorter handle. So I do like the longer handle. Will say that. So we got Vanguards. We got them. I weigh them, and I put the little weigh numbers on the bottom. I got the electric tape over the guard, and I got the overgrip on. It's legit. I got 4 of them.
Nice. Well, it sounds
Love
like
it.
Dan has similar tastes to Eddie and I, because Eddie recently did a review of the new S2 Vanguard. He was not a fan of it. I did a review of the Invicta Vanguard, and I was a fan of it. So sounds like we have similar tastes here, my friend.
Oh, I like, even though I've used an Engage, and Engage got a lot of pop on it. Our friend of ours, Tommy's made in Detroit, so he got me an Engage, and it's got a ton of zip on it. And, a lot of friends of ours use them, and they hit it hard.
Hard.
But I've been playing hard.
Tommy brings the heat. Wow. Yeah.
Call him the Brawler. Tommy the Brawler, Drapes.
That's what. Yeah. Tommy the Brawler. That's him with his racket. It's go time.
Oh, you better be ready at the net. Yeah.
Very nice.
But I love I love the feel of the Vanguard. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I know a lot of people love it. Didn't work for me, but I think if I tried the Invicta, I might like that better than the Epic. But hey, I know a lot of people that love it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
A couple things coming in here on social media. Kyle Salenko from No Smoke Productions says, I'm smelling a mini tournament exhibition at Beer City next summer, LOL. So if you guys are going to be around in July, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Belknap Park is going to be the 2021 Beer City Open, where Webby and I are going to be hosting along with Andrea Coop. And if you guys are around, maybe we could do something fun out there. That'd be kind of cool.
And for anybody
certainly
watching,
know Grand Rapids.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Got the Beer City Open pint glass right here that I'm drinking from right now.
We actually got invited to Riley's tournament out in Arizona. I think it's in October, maybe. Remember, Drapes?
It's right after. I think it's next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks out, right?
Yeah. I would love to do that.
Sponsored by Dairy Queen. Yeah, they were able.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Dairy Queen truck there. He told us about that during when he was on our show. So
they love their Dairy Queen.
Well, I'm going to get Riley's racket too. He's using that new mock racket paddle. Sorry, I keep calling it, but I want to get it. It's not out yet, but he says he's getting his own paddle, which I'm definitely going to get it and test out. But they got to get these things back in stock. I mean, let's go, Selkirk.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on, Selkirk.
Get your act together.
Let's go, Rob and Mike Barnes. Come on, guys. No, I know they're selling out like crazy, so
yeah,
that's a cool thing. I just have one more question here too. And this actually comes from somebody who I know is a huge fan of both of you, because it happens to be my mother. And she says, pickleball is a sport that you can play with your family, even multiple generations. Have you brought pickleball home to your families?
Great question.
I have. I spoke earlier about my wife being a huge tennis, so we went as a family and played. My youngest daughter, Lola, she loves to play tennis, and she loves pickleball. And over at where she plays tennis, they have they're paddle courts, but the younger kids have been playing pickleball over there. So even like me and Drapes, we've been talking to the tennis pro and like, can we get pickleball courts over here? So, and they're not just us two. There's been a lot of different people that have been asked, and they're trying to get it in. So, but certainly my youngest has played. She loves it. We play in the driveway, and then we're just touching it back and forth, and then she'll just rip one by me, and and then it goes into the bushes. I got to go retrieve it, and she's smiling. But it is a great family sport. Love it. I'm hoping to get my youngest to go play. We spoke about it earlier, Webby, over in Whittier with Stephanie at that little, the kids' little thing.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Now she does love tennis, so it could be hard to pull her away from that. But I told her she could do both, so we'll see.
Yeah, the youth pickleball scene is really picking up in Royal Oak, so I love it. But yeah, Kris, what about you? Have you brought it home?
Yeah, you know what? We've talked about it and actually have done the same thing. And then we belong to the same club. Our daughters actually played a lot of tennis this summer at the club, and it's funny because the pro there, Smitty, was always talking about let's play some tennis, and I just told him, I said, I'm all pickleball. Like, I'm all pickleball. We need to get this here. I told him about it, and like Dan said, they're actually trying to figure out a way to do it. But they put some clinics on, and the kids have done it. My youngest daughter has done it, and she's had some fun with it. So it's definitely something that I hope that they get. But it's absolutely for pickleball for your families. It's so much fun. You can go out there. You're outside, fresh air. You're playing a fun sport. So it's definitely something fun to do with your family. I totally agree with that.
Absolutely. And Kris, I know you mentioned earlier that the pandemic played a kind of a role in you guys getting into pickleball to begin with. I can thank the pandemic for my daughter really getting into pickleball, because during the pandemic, because we were stuck at home, didn't have much to do, it was her idea for us to set up my portable net in the park down the street from my house and play pickleball. And her and I were starting to play like every single day. We would play singles matches with each other. And now my daughter's doing tournaments and stuff. And she did a youth tournament, the juniors tournament that happened in Royal Oak not too long ago. So I know, like, this pandemic, you can't really say anything good about the pandemic, but if you can take away some positives about it, it helped light the fire. It lit the pickleball fire with my daughter, so that's something I can think about the pandemic. But I do want to shift over. I know you guys are extremely busy, especially with the draft coming up, so I know we don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to ask a couple more hockey-related questions. So, Kris, I got to ask you, is there a specific moment in your NHL career that stands out as one of your favorites or the most impactful for you personally?
Wow.
You can tell him the drive in 05. You know that. Took me down to drop my bag off. You remember that. Most impactful moment had to be.
Yeah. It's amazing we're still friends. I'll let him tell that one. No, I would. For me, I have three kids. Actually, now that my daughters are 20 and 12, my son's 18. In 2008, my youngest daughter Cameron was born May 22nd, 2008. May 24th was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and we ended up going on to beat Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games and win the Stanley Cup. So for me, being able to bring the Stanley Cup home to my 3 kids is something that I'll never forget. It's probably the proudest moment that I had as a hockey player. And, very fortunate to be able to do that. And Probably one other big moment that I'll never forget was Stanley Cup Finals, 1998, Game 2 against the Washington Capitals. I scored a goal in overtime that put us up 2-0 going into Washington. We had a real big comeback to win that one. So I'd probably say, like I said, I was so fortunate to play with some of the greatest players of all time. You just go down the list of, Stevie Y, Nick Lidstrom, Chris Chelios, Dominic Hasek. You just keep going down the list of the players that I was able to play with. But those moments would probably be the greatest that I can certainly remember.
Awesome. And both moments that you mentioned, both vividly stand out in my mind. I remember both moments very, very clearly. So yeah, those were awesome moments. I feel like a lot of people in Detroit and Michigan in general feel the same way. So that's very cool. So what about you, Dan?
You.
A moment in your NHL career that stands out as one of your most favorite or most impactful for you personally?
Well, it'd be, for anyone that's won the Stanley Cup, it'd be hard to overlook that. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So, I've won, obviously only one. Drapes has 4 Stanley Cups. I mean, so in '08, obviously, was just incredible. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I just couldn't imagine having won it before, when you don't have a clue really, how to feel, how it's going to be. It was important to have people on there that won before. I got to be honest, and people say, I feel the experience is so important. I know Tampa just won when no one's won it on their whole roster except for Patty Maroon. So I'm sure people must have been leaning on Patty to be, how, even this, going into games, night before games, how people act, what they talk, the confidence, how they act. And, it really filters down to people who are, whether you show it or don't show it, you're nervous, you're excited, you're fired up, the expectation, you have no clue what's going to happen. And winning in '08 was just everything that you dream of. Everyone talks about it. So it was exactly how it played out for me in my mind in terms of what it felt like. And, just celebrating behind the net and all that is just unbelievable. Like when I watched those guys win the other night, it's automatic goosebumps. You just get these crazy goosebumps that go through you, and you're just like, God damn, it was unbelievable. I'm just so happy that I actually had to win because there's so many great, great, great players and friends of ours that, even my best friend, me and Drapes, Hork, he got to the finals and lost in a Game 7. We did too, but we already had one in the bank. So, and then a buddy of ours just lost on Dallas. So, it sucks. I mean, imagine going that far in the bubble and losing, as great as a compliment as it is, it really does. It's really crappy feeling losing. And we lost Game 7 at home. I mean, I'm sure you can remember Eddie and Webby in '09. So, but I'm just so happy I got the win. So '08 for me, unbelievable. Forever. Incredible.
Awesome. Yep, and I've got like the commemorative Sports Illustrated magazines from all the Stanley Cup wins. I've got posters. If I would have prepared better, I would have had all the stuff in the background of my shot here. But I've got a lot of Red Wings memorabilia in my basement. I've got the car flag. I've got that hanging up right here in my basement. There's Red Wing stuff all over my basement. Definitely Red Wings memories definitely have the best professional sports memories. Being a Michigander and a Detroit sports fan, definitely the Red Wings memories are the best as far as professional sports goes. So that's without a doubt. Can't thank you guys enough for providing those memories. One thing I do got to ask, Kris, what was the most interesting thing that you did with the Stanley Cup when it was in your possession?
You know what? We just obviously, I got to be careful here. You know that.
Oh, yeah. See, the most interesting thing that you can talk about live on the air.
I would say, some pretty cool things. My kids ate Fruit Loops out of the Stanley Cup. They've had ice cream out of the Stanley Cup. But for me, I remember, I'll never forget this. This was in 1997. We had a party the night before, and the next day was going to be the parade. And I figured if I could outlast all my teammates that I could have the Stanley Cup at my house, and then I could bring it down for the parade. And so sure enough, I did. So I had the cup that night. Everyone was a little bit nervous of me having the cup and making sure that I had to be down for the parade. And so we kind of, we had a limo. We were kind of making some stops. And in '97, the Spirit of Detroit had the big Red Wing jersey on. And I kind of said, I was with some buddies. It was my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. I was like, let's go, take a picture, down by the Spirit of Detroit. The sun was coming up, so it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. The parade I had to be back for the parade at about 10. And we ended up, so I came out of the limo with the Stanley Cup, and all of a sudden there had to be 50 to 75 people that were there to set up. They wanted their spot for the parade. And I brought the Stanley Cup out, and I just remember taking pictures, with all the fans that were there. My first reaction was, I better get home because this is going to be a big day. And, sure enough, so I get home, and then I actually come back downtown. And as you know, and as you remember, Woodward was just, packed on both sides. There was over 1 million people that were at this parade. And it was just something that I'll never forget. Driving, down Woodward to Hart Plaza, and just sometimes just turning around and looking at the amount of people that were there to celebrate and enjoy, our Stanley Cup. So that was probably one of the coolest moments that I had, is just kind of, getting out. And then, for us, anytime we had an opportunity to share it with the fans, let them, touch it, let them, hold it, let them get a picture with it. It's something that we did. And to this day, we still run into people that, that we created a lot of memories for, with winning those championships through, 97 and through 08.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Epic memories for anybody in the state of Michigan. That's for sure. And I personally think the Stanley Cup is the coolest of all championship prizes in like any sporting event. Like it's such a cool thing. Absolutely love it. So what about you, Dan? What's the most interesting thing that you can talk about that you did with the Stanley Cup when it was in your possession?
Oh, God. I mean, just some backstory. So as you guys know, like when you win, they plot out a travel schedule for the Stanley Cup. So, depending on your tenure and your stature in the club, you only get it for one day. Now, I'm sure Drapes can tell you he's probably had it for 2, 3, maybe more days as these years have gone on, and Stevie and Nick or whoever. But I asked Ken if I can get it for 2 days, because where I come from, which is the east coast of Canada, a small province called Newfoundland, I was the first person to win it from there. So it was kind of a bigger deal where I'm from. So, and I ended up getting it in the travel schedule, which was Canada Day, July 1st. So I had it for 2 days, and then when I got home, obviously it was all mapped out in terms of what I was going to do, almost to the hour. And so my neighbor, who was my first cousin Lisa, she was a disabled woman, and she was she's gone and passed now. But I remember waking up the second day, which was going to be the parade day back home, and my dad came in. He says, "Got a surprise for you." I went outside. It was like her and 13 of her friends that were all fired up. So I had to jump the fence with the cup, and we got a picture. And so that was one of the things that I remember right away. And then, when we did finish it, I ended up having probably around 35,000 people that ended up coming out to this park, like basically like a big football field. And I just literally, I was so tired. I got to be honest. We partied the night before, and it was till the wee hours, and I just left it there with the cup keepers. I said, just let anyone come up and take a picture with it. And I remember my dad was doing a live TV interview, and I kept calling him, and he kept trying to turn off the phone in the interview. And so all these kids, because I do hockey school back home, so I see some of these kids and parents, and they were like, I was there in 08. I got to take a picture with your cup. And, they were maybe 15 or 14, and now they have little kids. So that was the thing for me that sticks out the 2 days that I had it. Haven't seen it since.
Well, soon. I'm sure the Red Wings will bring it home soon, right, guys? The draft is coming up. You'll get some players that'll make it happen. But awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing those stories, guys. That's very cool. We can't thank you guys enough for joining us here tonight, and I seriously think this episode of our podcast it could really open the eyes of people that don't take pickleball seriously as a legitimate sport. If they see that two Stanley Cup champions are playing the sport and are addicted to the sport, it might make them think twice. Like maybe this isn't just a sport for old people. Maybe this is something I should take seriously. If we can just get a few people that take it seriously because of tonight's episode, that is a huge win for us. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I do want to give you guys each a chance to say something before we part ways. Like, is there anything you want to say? Either if you want to say something about pickleball or if you want to say something about the Red Wings, anything. This is your chance to let people know whatever you want to say before we part ways here. What about you, Kris?
I mean, for me, and Dan's talked about obviously Dee from Sports Club of West Bloomfield. She just sets up games. It's nonstop. So all we have to do is just kind of show up and play. So it's been an opportunity to thank her. Sorry, I was reading the comment down there. To thank her, and then just all the people that I've been, able to play with. Michelle, an amazing partner. Playing with Marius, he's so fun to play with, and you just keep going down the list of who we met and who we played with, and we've had a blast doing that. So for me, Chef Tommy. He's a fun player, and then we got the brawler Tommy Duback. We love playing with him. So just all the people that we've been able to meet, and they include us in everything. It's a lot of fun to be able to do that. Probably have to apologize. Sometimes my language isn't the way it should be on the courts. My emotions, can get the best of me sometimes, and so I think I need a little bit more discipline on the court. I'll continue to work on that to all my partners and to my opponents as well. But it's certainly a lot of fun. It's something that when I started doing this, in my buddy Seth's backyard, I never thought I'd be, as passionate and certainly addicted to this. But it's a great sport. It's so much fun. It's a great workout. And once again, like I said, to me, it's great to be able to be back in a competitive environment, and that's something that I really enjoy.
Awesome. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, everything Drape said. I mean, meeting new people is obviously is fun, exciting. We've both gotten same friends from this. He referenced Dee, Michelle. These are two girls that we first started playing with, and they're so fun to play with. Chef Tommy, Marius, Tommy D, Nick, Colin, Britt, even when this is actually, I wish I knew his name, but he's a really good player. I played over at his dad's house. It's a little far away, but even Jason, just so many people that we've got to know and meet. So when we go to Upton or Sports Club or Whittier, we don't really go to Whittier that much because we can play at Upton. But when we have gone down there, it's been fun. But it's just been great meeting people. Just new friends, and I think the one thing that I'd like to say is just thanks. And if you see us at Upton or wherever you see us, you come up, say hello. I mean, we love to meet new people, and we're always looking for games. And but we got a great crew. It's awesome. We got a great crew. I mean, whenever I get a number, I just put them in my phone. Their first names. No one ever tells me a last name, and then I just put pickleball, and then the group chats come out. Game tomorrow. Who wants to play? Where and when? And then the matriarch Dee, she sets it up, and she puts everyone in on their courts, and we go and play, and it's just been awesome. It's great sport. I hope everyone can get out and play, try it. Don't be afraid to try it. It's a great workout, like Drape said, and I mean, I'm having a blast. And I'm only learning. I'm just trying to get better. So I'm looking for any help I can get. Now, don't be a teacher. I don't need you to tell me everything I need to do. I got to do on this court. I mean, we kind of know what we're doing a little bit. So, but I'm always open for tips.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome stuff. And for anybody that tunes into our show regularly, you may know that the year 2021 is shaping up to be the year of challenges for Eddie and Webby. So, Eddie, I say, why not add another one to the list? Would you guys be up to doing a Kris and Dan match against Eddie and Webby? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah,
Should we make
but
it happen?
Yes,
only in Naples.
That's right.
Oh,
Come on
come
down.
on.
Yeah.
All right, fine. That would make
Naples.
That would make it worth. I'm not a huge fan of flying, but I would fly to Naples for that. That absolutely.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
We accept the challenge. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, seriously, thank you guys. This we cannot thank you enough for joining us here tonight. This has been absolutely awesome. And like I said, I seriously think this will open the eyes of people that don't take pickleball seriously as a legitimate sport. The fact that you two are involved and so addicted to it, I think that will open the eyes of a lot of people. Pickleball is not to be taken lightly. Pickleball is here to stay, folks, and it's awesome. And if you don't play it, you should play it. So,
yeah. Well, I think
you're missing out.
A lot of people that have been to Upton and hear us, the way we play and how we kind of chirp each other and talk to each other. I think people realize how serious and how competitive it can be. Like I said earlier in the show, probably sometimes might be a little bit too loud, but that's the passion that we just have and the compete that we have. And like I said, it brings it out in us. So it's I look forward to it. Going to bed at night, waking up in the morning, can't wait to get to the courts and go play. Like it's been that much fun. And for real, it was a Sunday morning. I literally played from 8 in the morning till 12. I played for 4 hours, and I was absolutely exhausted after. Yeah, and it's like, and then it's funny. Like Dan would be like, "That's it. I need a break. My body needs a break. I can't do this." And then next thing you know, 2 hours later, guys, okay, who's in for pickle tomorrow? And away we go.
Yeah,
awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed handing Marius his lunch the last few times out. Thoroughly. He's a friend of ours, guys, and he's real good at pickleball. But
Fantastic.
God, I love it. He's much better than me.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I was on that team, so I can't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
I was with Marius, and I didn't help either. Sometimes you gotta pick your partner up, and Clears and Horkworth, they were real good that day, and Marius and I wasn't our day, but definitely they know that a rematch is coming.
You know what I enjoyed the most, Draves? I enjoyed the most when you would be like, "Hey, do you think you could have put that one away at the net?" Like that was, and then, he totally should have put it away. And he's like, "Well, I was going to go with the angle." Like drill that right down my throat.
Exactly.
And here's another thing. Hey, Webby, no sorries on the court. If I hit you, I don't need to. I can't keep saying sorry all the time. Like getting hit at the net is part of it. No offense,
for sure.
But
no, exactly.
You stick in
totally
there.
agree.
That's it.
Yeah, no. Anytime somebody says sorry to me after they hit me, I'm like, no, I deserve that. If you hit me, that's awesome. Like you should get 2 points for that.
Even what? Part of it, if it hits the net and it drops in for a point, it's just the way it is. I'm not sorry. I'm actually glad I got the point.
Well,
so,
usually
I'm not going to say sorry.
Right.
I'm not going to say sorry about it. If I hit you and I get the point, great. If it hits the net and it drops in and I get the point, that's part of the game. That's the way, and I literally turn my back and walk back and get ready for the point.
Usually
it's
when
so
I get
annoying
hit,
though.
Yeah. When I get hit, usually it's Webby that should be saying sorry to me because he's the one that put it up in their wheelhouse.
Come on. I've gotten better. My shots are getting lower.
Yeah.
I don't set up
Webby,
as many shots.
Me and Michelle handed you your lunch at the Riley Newman clinic.
Oh, come on. It's true, but come on.
Yeah, it's a shot. It's a parting shot, Webby. It's just a parting shot.
Yeah. All right. I'll accept it. I'll gladly accept it. I'll take that as a good critique. I need to get better. Don't pop it up as much. All right. I get it. But this has been such an awesome night. Thank you guys very much for joining us. This is definitely going to go down as one of my absolute favorite episodes ever. it's going to be hard to top this one. This might be the end. We might just end the podcast after tonight because I feel like we can't. I feel like we can't top this one. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is the final episode of the Eddie and Webby podcast. No, seriously, thank you guys very much, and I look forward to seeing you on the pickleball court in the near future. Eddie and Webby, we'll see you guys both in Naples next year, and we'll try to destroy you. And but this has been awesome. Have a great night, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
guys,
it. You guys
for
have a
having
great
us.
night too.
Yep.
All right, everyone, stay safe and healthy.
Thank
See
you,
you guys.
Oh man, did that just happen? Did
what
that really
just
just happen? I'm pinching myself here. Please don't wake up. Please don't have this be a dream.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I literally remember every one of those Stanley Cup wins that they mentioned tonight. Even the one in 1997, I think that was Drape's first Stanley Cup win. I remember exactly where I was, and that was even before you and I met each other, Webby. I remember exactly where I was when it happened. I've idolized these guys for a very long time, and it was hard to not kind of fanboy it out with them,
right?
But I mean, these guys are idols, and how amazing is it that pickleball is what brought them together, and how amazing is it that they love the sport so much that they're gonna come on our show, two guys who don't know what the hell they're doing ever, and just threw a pickleball podcast out there, and we have two of the some of the greatest players in the NHL. Come on, like it's crazy.
If this episode doesn't show you how amazing pickleball is and how powerful pickleball is, like, this is proof right here that pickleball is amazing, because we just had two of our sports idols on the show with us because of pickleball. I mean, come on. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That was so much fun. I had such a good time listening to your interview with them. Had some really great comments coming in on social media, and just, getting to see, like, these guys are obviously at the top of their game when it comes to hockey. But I feel like when you get to that level, that there's a lot of things that translate into any sport that you play, right? And so to see what they're able to do within just a matter of months on the pickleball court, the relationships they're building, the skills they're developing, the fact that, they're already at like a 4 or 5 level. I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
It's incredible to be able to see that happen.
Yeah, Dan Cleary has been playing for 4 months. He did a 4.5 tournament, and he feels that, like, he's not going to go below that. He's going to stick with 4.5. I mean, that is amazing. We've been playing for 3 years. I'm struggling to be competitive at the 4.0 level. I mean, it's wild. I love it. It was just so cool to hear, like we said before, sports idols of ours talk about pickleball the way that we talk about pickleball. I mean, they recognize how amazing the sport is, how awesome it is. And like I said before, the Stanley Cup is by far the greatest the greatest achievement in all of sports, every sport you can ever think of. And I'm not kidding. This little tiny replica that I bought on Amazon, like, I was super excited just to get this. So can you imagine hoisting the actual Stanley Cup because you earned it? I mean, I can't even imagine.
Especially too, it's like, both of us being from Detroit growing up, the Pistons were all the way out in Auburn Hills. The Lions were all the way out in Pontiac. The only team that really was actually, in my opinion, a Detroit team growing up was the Red Wings. And I remember loving going to Joe Louis Arena to be able to watch them play. I don't know if you ever had a chance to when you were younger, but they were really the only Detroit sports team.
Yeah, I agree that, like, you cannot equate any Michigan or Detroit experience, professional sports experience, than attending a Red Wings game. Even watching, like, when they were in the playoffs every year for numerous years, like, it was more exciting than any other sporting event on TV. Like, I just remember watching it in my bedroom when I was in junior high, when I was in high school. I never felt goosebumps during a sporting event than I did during the Stanley Cup Finals and the playoffs. It was such a cool thing.
We're going to have to change our logo now from the English D for the Tigers to the Red Wings logo. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. However, sometimes the Red Wings, they do, when they wear like the old school logo, like the old school uniforms, they do have an old English D, a red old English D. So I think the old English D could possibly stand, but it's hard to beat the Red Wing logo. That thing is badass.
I agree. Man, what an a great that's a new word that I just invented. What a great
That's
episode. Right. This was so much fun. Webby, is there anything else that we want to be able to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up here?
No, I don't think so. I think anything else that we say will taint this episode. It can't get much better than it did with Kris Draper and Dan Cleary. I still can't believe it happened. Let me pinch myself again. Make sure I don't wake up. Okay, I'm still awake, so that's a good sign.
I'm still awake too. Yep. Yeah, that was awesome.
Man.
We have another great show coming for you guys. Next Wednesday, we'll be revealing the special guest here in the very near future, but I guarantee you, you're not going to be disappointed once again. We are so lucky and so blessed to be able to have some amazing guests that actually want to be on the show, which is really cool, right?
Yeah, I still can't believe it. I mean, even before today, I still feel super blessed and can't believe the amazing guests we get. And next week is no exception. We have an absolutely amazing guest you guys are not going to want to miss.
That's right. Well, guys, this was episode number 74. Next one is milestone number 75.
Ooh. Oh, and do you remember what's going to happen on milestone episode 75? We're going to reveal something. Do you remember what that is?
What is it? What are you talking about?
A brand new state-of-the-art Eddie versus Webby championship belt. It has been upgraded. Eddie, you get the right to hang that one from the rafters in your home because you're the only one that ever held that one. But the new one, it's going to put that one to shame, my friend. And I think it's the motivation I need to beat you in the next Eddie versus Webby challenge. So you are all not going to want to miss the big reveal of the new Eddie versus Webby championship, in addition to an amazing guest. Episode 75 is going to be incredible.
That's right. But this has been episode number 74, which means there's 74 of you out there. And guess what, guys? We love you to bits. Thank you for tuning in. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.